Hi guys, it's Angie Bell with HerballyHipTarot. How's my Herbally Hip tribe doing out there? This is for entertainment purposes only, and everything we say here is allegedly. Okay, you guys, let's get into the mess we call the U.S. You guys, I'm sorry about yesterday. I know I came on with 3 videos, part 1, part 2, part 3. You guys were like, oh, what the hell does Angela have here? And I don't know. It is, Mercury is in retrograde, okay? Because my stuff is just a mess. My microphone, I think I need to put it on this other thing. My microphone, I think wasn't charged, and I thought it was charged. So, anyway, let me just make sure this is right here. It has to be a solid green, not blinking, and I guess it was blinking, and I didn't pay attention, and that's what happened. All right, next thing, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd love for you to do so. If you could hit the bell twice and give me a thumbs up, I think you're going to like it here. Okay, next thing real quick. What we're about to get into, and excuse my light. I had to redo these videos. I woke up at 5 o'clock this morning because I'm very upset about what happened. And I want to get this out to you guys. So lighting's not even barely up here outside. Okay. This is just a little bit of a warning. If you're going to get triggered by any type of sexual abuse, don't watch this, okay? Everything I'm saying will come out anyway, and you don't have to hear all the details. Okay, but if you're okay with that, continue to watch. I'm just letting you know. I just want to give you that warning. And yesterday I didn't give that warning, and I meant to, because some people will be triggered by this, okay? I'm triggered, and I've never been sexually abused, okay? And I'm triggered as hell. So, all right, what we're going over is we're going to be part 1, part 2, and part 3. I'm going to do 5 pages in this part, 5 pages in the second part, and 5 pages in the third part. It's an interview. At the end of each, after I read the 5 pages of this interview, then we'll pull some cards, okay? All right, so there's this man named SHAUN ATTWOOD. He has interviewed actually 2 women, and I'll talk about that other woman tomorrow. But the woman we're going to talk about today that he interviewed is named Anya Wick Epstien. This is Epstein's niece, okay? And she's going to talk about how she grew up, okay? And how Epstein grew up. And this is why he is such a prolific pedophile, okay? He lives, breathes, eats, sleeps being a pedophile. And this is the Ornamentalist's best friend, who he hung out with, who he went to parties with, who he had parties for, who he invited to his wedding. I mean, who he hung out with, who he went to the island with. Okay, so let me start. Oh, and SHAUN ATTWOOD, I will have a link to the video where he interviewed her. It'll be in the description, so you can go watch this video. Now, it's a long video. It's an hour and a half, but I sat there for an hour and a half. No, I sat there for probably 2.5 because I was taking notes, so I had to keep stopping it. And I have 15 pages of notes, which is why we're going to do this in 3 segments. And it's a lot of information, so I figured doing 20, 30-minute segments will give you a little time to, like, absorb what I'm telling you, because it's a trip. Okay. Anya Wick says that her family belongs to a cult. It's called the Cult of Baal, B-A-A-L. Okay, it is a group of elites. It's 1,000 years old, this cult. And yeah, Epstein grew up in this cult. Okay, he practices the Cult of Baal. Anya Wick, Epstein's niece, she says that she was a sex slave and drugged most of her life. I'm giving a little cap of the things she said, and then we're going to go into detail as the story keeps going. And she jumps around a little bit because she's upset, okay? And and so many things are coming at her at one time. Just as if anybody would talk, you know what I'm saying? Who this has happened to. Also, some things are going to sound crazy, but look at what she's saying and look at what's happening now and look at what's being said now. It all goes together. Okay. Okay. I'm going to continue on. So, Anya Wick, she said that she was a sex slave all her life and drugged most of her life. She did try to transition to male and now is female again. We'll go further. She goes further into that and why as the story goes on. So I won't I won't go into that anymore. Let's see. Okay. She says that this cult, Baal, they have a huge reach over politicians, entertainers, actors, singers, all of them. Huge reach. There are many politicians, Republican and Democrat. More Republicans, I guess, but she said Democrats too. Politicians, entertainers, actors are very much involved in this and are in this cult, Baal. Okay, now this is crazy what I'm about to say, okay? But stick with me. She was told by her father that Walt Disney is her great-grandfather. His original name was Art Warbick. Her father, okay, so she wanted to tell us that. She wanted to tell us about her father. Her father is an attorney and her mother is head of the PTA. So what she's trying to set us up is letting us know who she is, okay? They're the elites, okay? And she wanted to let us know that because they're the elites, it's a mask. Her father's an attorney and her mother's head of the PTA. Nobody would think an attorney or the head of the PTA is in the cult of Baal. Okay, now she goes back and she talks about Walt. Walt Disney had a twin sister who had children Walt Disney had a twin sister who he had children with. He's in this thing of Baal also. There is a lot of inbreeding going on in this family and in this cult. Okay, and his sister who he had children with, her name was Minnie. That's where you get Minnie Mouse. I know this is sounding crazy. Let me just keep going. That's where you get Minnie Mouse and Mickey Mouse. And in Disney, there was lots of sexual abuse of children, rapid. Now, let me tell you about something. Now, that sounds crazy, but let me tell you something. I had watched something else. It was a documentary about Walt. Me and my husband did. And there was this kid, and I can't think of I don't know his name. I'd have to look that up. But this kid was a blonde kid, real cute, adorable. He was in everything in Disney, okay? Well, they had said that this kid was hung around with Walt 24/7, like his little buddy. What grown man has a little kid hanging around him 24/7? Pedophiles. Everything I say is allegedly. Okay, but then this kid was passed around all over Disney. And he would do anything sexually with anyone. His parents beat him and threw him away, were very abusive to him. If he wasn't with Walt, he was taken home and locked in a closet and beaten. So totally abusive parents. And so he didn't want to do that. So mostly hanging around with Walt and all the other men there. So he was beaten and abused at home. He comes to Disney to the set and was sexually abused there. Now, this was another documentary that I watched on TV. Okay, let me move on. Anya Wick's father was, she said, Anya Wick says that her father was, just one second. Okay, she just says that she goes, her father also was sexually abused his whole life. Okay, everyone's been sexually abused, and then everyone turns into a sexual abuser in her family. She would go, and then she said she would go to sex parties, and these children were put. She would go to these sex parties, and there would be children there, and a lot of the children that were there were on TV, were on Disney, all those Disney programs. A lot of those children were there, and they were there to get sexually abused. They didn't know they were there for that reason, but that's what happened. She said also there's a place called Bohemian Grove Corpse. She went to these rituals a few times a month, and she went to these rituals a few times a month at Bohemian Grove Corpse. At these rituals, there were tons of children there, and they were being sexually abused, including her. Let me see what else I'm reading. I'm reading my notes as I go along, guys. Okay, then she says, talking about birth certificates. She said birth certificates are forged because there is so much inbreeding and rapes in her family and in the cult of Baal. Okay, they have been practicing the cult of Baal in her family for forever, for as long as she can remember. It's been in her family for a long time. The cult, it forces men to have as many children as they can. They believe this creates a stronger bond, creates more loyalty, and keeps people from talking. So what they like to do is they like to inbreed, and they like to have as many kids as they can have, because then they can control that, right? You can control your children. You can control the children in the cult, right? So they know they can't just go as they can't control children and people outside of the cult. That's why they want to make their family bigger, because those are the people that they're going to rape, and the other children in the cult. Okay, listen to this. She says there is a level of protection for the bloodline born into the cult of Baal, but not for like people like Puff Daddy. She said he is in the cult of Baal, allegedly. Who was not okay, but not for okay, so let me say it again. So there's a level of protection for the bloodline born into the cult of Baal, but not for Puff Daddy, who was not in the bloodline. So he was used as a scapegoat. R. Kelly and Puff Daddy joined the cult, but they are nothing but scapegoats. Like, they don't really want them in there because they're black. They're not part of the bloodline, right? They inbreed. So there you go. But they'll take you in so that when things go sideways, you're the sacrificial lamb that they're going to put out there. Okay. Okay, now there's another part she talks about. She says that, I just want to make sure, I'm freaking out about my microphone. I want to make sure it's always green, not blinking. Okay, it says, act as, okay, then this is what she goes into. Her family acted as if they were Jewish in public, but behind the scenes, behind the doors, they were Satanists. Okay, she says the drugs they are given make them hallucinate. For example, when she would being, oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to say this. This is horrible. And I'm going to give an example of this also, of something else I had heard. She said when they gave her these drugs, she would hallucinate. And when she was being raped by these men, as a child, as a 3, 4, 5-year-old child, her whole life, they would turn into lizards. Okay, I know you're like, Angela, what the hell are you talking about? Now you're talking cuckoo. Okay, it's a hallucination because that's these drugs that they're giving them. Now, there was a girl that this same guy interviewed, SHAUN ATTWOOD. He interviewed another girl, which we're going to go over her interview also. But anyway, and she said the same thing. She could say when she was being raped by Epstein, the drugs that she was on, he turned into a lizard. So what happens is these drugs are so bad because they want to have complete control over you that you hallucinate. And that was weird because I had watched another interview and I had heard that and I thought, oh, how weird. And then I heard it a second time. I'm like, from another victim. And this one wasn't oh yeah, okay. Anyway, let's keep going. Okay, this is horrible. Anya said Anya said she was sexually assaulted by her father, cousins, and uncles. She was severely drugged while this would happen to her. Again, she starts talking about, talking about this again. This goes deep into the politics, entertainment world, wide. She said this goes deep into politics, like I said before, entertainment, and this is worldwide. It's very much with the elites and the very rich. So this is not just in the United States. This is throughout the world. Okay. Like Epstein, especially this cult of Cabal, um, is worldwide. It's not just in the United States. Or the cult of Baal. That's why, Epstein had customers for his, little girls that he was, selling. They're customers from all over the world. This whole thing that we've been reading on is way deeper than he stole the election. I mean, that's bad enough, okay? They stole it. This is way deeper, okay? This is disgustingly horrible. And this has been going on for a long time. Okay, Anya said she's met everyone. Okay, that's how elite her family is. She's met everyone. Listen to who she's met. Anya says, I have met the royals, all of them. And she couldn't remember if it was 2005 or 2006. She goes, remember, my family liked to keep me on drugs. So, and she's going to talk about the whole drug thing, about how her family kept her on drugs. I won't talk about that yet. But anyway, she met the royals either in 2005 or 2006, and she's met everyone, all of them. Who the hell is their family when you meet royals? Who's met the royals? Anya has met every American president, even the Orange Menace. She's met the Kardashians. She's met Harvey Weinstein. Okay, so she's talked about all the elites that she has met. She goes, I've met everyone. Lots of people are in the cult of Baal. And definitely Harvey Weinstein is in the cult of Baal, she says. Allegedly. Okay, then she goes into about Jeffrey and Elaine. Jeffrey and Elaine, they do have an age limit. And it looked like Orange Menace does too. He's always talked about, like, when he was getting interviewed, remember he said that his limit is 12-year-olds. So he likes 13-year-olds too. Jeffrey and Elaine, they like to rape 13 and up. That's their criteria. How about no raping at all? Now, she said, Anya said, now for my family, my father, she goes, Jeffrey's not hardcore. He at least has an age limit, 13 and up. My father, his age limit is 3 and up. My dad, she goes, my father was hardcore. I'm like, Jesus Christ. And she's been raped since she was like 3, what she can remember. And we're going to talk about her memory as we go along too. That was a whole thing about that, of trying to get all this out of her. Okay. Okay. Anya says, listen to this. Anya says she has a twin brother and she has a twin brother, and her twin brother was raised on the Disney Channel. They were separated at 4, and she did not see him until he was on TV. That's the only time she would see her twin brother. She said he was also sexually abused the whole time he was on Disney. And it's easy for their family to get into Disney because their great grandfather owned it. Okay, just one second. Just one second, guys. He was sexually abused, and so the abusive between. Okay, I can't remember. I can't read my writing right there. Okay, now listen to this. Where does it say who? Okay, somewhere I have in my notes who her twin is. She says it's Shia Buff. Shia Buff, how you say his name, from Disney. Now think about this. Shia Buff, it's like SHAIOU. It's in my notes as I keep going. But anyway, she said Shia Buff. I'm going to say his name like that, and I'll correct myself as I keep going. But Shia Buff from Disney, we all know who that is. She says that is her twin. So I right away went to the computer, and I looked at their faces. Oh my God, they're the same. And think about Shia LaBeouf. And think about a lot of Disney kids. They all end up messed up by the time they're 18. They go to drugs. They're a mess. They get in tons of trouble because a lot of them have been sexually abused, she said. Most of the kids she said, most of the kids in Disney have been sexually abused. That's what it is. It's a sex ring. It's a way to sexually abuse children. I'm like, allegedly. And Shia LaBeouf, he was a mess. Remember? He was drinking and drugging, getting in car crashes, getting in fights. He was just, because they're trying to deal with what happened to them as children their whole life. Look at Lindsay Lohan. She was a mess. Look at Britney Spears. They were all on the Disney Channel. See, this is what I'm trying to tell you. It's like when you hear these crazy things, just wait, because you're going to see how things line up in the world today and what things have happened. Okay, she goes on to say, let me see how many pages I've gotten to. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 2 more pages. Okay, we'll do 2 more pages and then we'll do a reading, and then we'll end this session. Okay, she says all of her siblings are victims. So everyone has been raped. Okay, she says she met Jeffrey Epstein in 2007. Now, she had met him before when she was little, but she just didn't remember. You know how like you meet a relative, but you haven't seen him for like 10, 12 years? It was like that. So she just kind of getting reacquainted with him again. Her father said, remember your uncle Jeffrey? And Maxwell was there also, was with him. This was like some family thing. Okay, then she said the sexual abuse has been going on in her family for years, tons of years, like as far back as she can't even remember. The sexual thing, this cult of Baal has been in her family forever. She said, it's been in our family for years. Jeffrey was not the one who started it. And he's actually not even the worst. My father is probably the worst. Okay. Men like him. Not that she's making him not that she's trying to get Epstein off at all, but she's letting you know it can get worse than just Jeffrey. She also said she knows that he did not kill himself. What have I gotten in my card readings? That fool did not kill himself. Oh, and really quick, let me go back. The other interview that I saw of another woman who was Jeffrey Epstein's victim, it had been years later, okay? She'd gotten married, had kids. Well, she saw him at a restaurant. He goes, come by my office. And she goes, for some reason, I did it. She goes, you know why? Because when they do this kind of stuff to you, you're messed up in the head. And I was still messed up in the head at the time, still trying to recover from what happened to me. I went to his office, and she actually said, sorry that you're got in trouble for all this stuff. Because this is at the point where he can go to work during the day and had to go to prison at night. He goes, I've never gone to no prison. Remember in the card readings we keep getting that fool is not in prison? This is what she said. She goes, so she said, okay, now I'm going back to Anya. Okay. She said she knows she knows that he did not kill himself. She says they may have either let him go and maybe he got plastic surgery and let him flee the country. He is not dead. Okay, and she said that she believes he was just used as a pawn. Used as a pawn. And I'll tell you why. His story blew up in the media, so they wouldn't look beyond him. They wanted it to look like he was the villain. They wanted it to look like he was the villain. So once he was gone, so was the news story. So they figured, you know what? We'll act like he killed himself. He's dead. The story's dead. So then she says, so this left her father free to continue his abuse. This is horrible. Then she says, men were forced to sexually assault her when they didn't want to. She says there was an actor, a famous actor. Okay, there was a famous actor who was told he has to rape her. And he didn't want to. But he was yelled at by her father to do it and to do it right. I won't tell you what else he said. It was disgusting. I can't even say it, so I'm not going to. When you guys watch it, you can see what else he said. And then she said she was barely conscious at this time. Okay, then she says, Jeffrey was in this cult. Okay, she said Jeffrey was in this cult and he practices it, but was not hardcore into sexual abuses of the 3 and 4-year-olds. He liked 13 and up. Anya said Maxwell enjoyed it. Just like, okay, this is the part right here where the interviewer asked, he goes, what do you think about Maxwell? She would go and get these girls and sometimes participated in some of the sexual abuse. And she goes, I only seen Maxwell a few times with Jeffrey. I didn't ever really know her. She goes, but I know her kind. And she says, Anya said, Maxwell enjoyed it, just like my stepmother did. Her stepmother would watch her get raped. Her mother would find victims for her. Her mother basically ran the whole thing and loved it and was very evil and mean towards her. She said they get off on the power of it. So Maxwell and her stepmother, who she compares Maxwell to, they get off on it. And she explains it later on. She says people that have been sexually abused, usually a lot of them sexually abuse others, and it's because they're trying to get their power back. You're never going to get your power back. You can rape as many people as you want. You're not getting your power back, but that's what they think. And so these women feel powerful now. They feel important. They're being fed something they've never had, which is power, because they had been sexually abused their whole life. And she doesn't know for sure, but she said, I believe Maxwell was probably sexually abused also. Okay. And was probably in this cult. Allegedly. Okay. Now she's talking about, Walt Disney's son. Walt, she just calls him Walt. Walt's son, who worked for the CIA, faked his death because he couldn't control what he wanted to do to his mother. Now, I'm not sure if it's his own mother or his stepmother. Anyway, it's a mother figure. These people are freaks. Okay, then she goes on and says, she talks about her stepmother. Her stepmother loved that she was being drugged and sexually abused to the point. Okay, she said she'd be drugged so bad to the point where she'd be drooling all over herself and she couldn't even speak. And then she said, this is disgusting. She says her stepmother was more attracted to her than her father, but she did what he wanted to stay in the good graces with him. Okay, and she talks about Maxwell, Epstein's little girlfriend. Maxwell also comes from aristocracy. and the elites. And I talked about, okay, this is what I want to say about this. These people, okay, we fought a whole war over this, okay, to get our freedom from England. So we would not be a dictatorship, and we wouldn't have a king. Okay, so they fought, we won that war. But what's crazy, is these men, they fought for that, but they brought that king mentality with them. Kings would go to people's homes if they saw a woman that they liked, a daughter, a wife, and just go to the husband and say, I'm taking her, that's it. And do what they want with them. They sexually abuse women all the time. Children, it don't matter. They're the king, they can do what they want. So we fought a war over this, and now they're acting just like this. It's disgusting. Just 1 second, guys. Okay. She's still talking about Maxwell. Anya believes that Maxwell was abused, and this caused her to be a psychopath. And she enjoyed sexually abusing children. And she said this is a speculation based on what she knows about her stepmother. When she saw Maxwell, she knew it's like once you've lived something, you know it. Okay, you know when you see it. That's what she's saying. So then he asked her, the interviewer, he asked her about the MKUltra program. He goes, what is the MKUltra program? She says drugs were given to her as an infant, a microdose. Okay, she was given microdoses. Okay, when she wasn't being sexually abused, she was given microdoses every day. She's always under drugs, microdoses of drugs, so she could be controlled. This also, because she was on microdrugs, she was weird, right? So she had a hard time making friends. So she didn't have very many friends. People thought she was weird at school because she's on microdrugs. This is another point she wanted to say. When she would go on these trips with her schoolmates, like, you might go on a trip overnight or a couple days or whatever. She would be off those drugs, those microdrugs, right? And her personality would come out. And the people who she was, the little friends she had, they were like, oh my God, whenever you go on trips, you turn into like another person. You're so nice. And everyone liked her. And she was like, everyone just couldn't believe it, how friendly she was and how talkative she was and how everyone just liked her. So when she'd go back home, she didn't understand why she would change. Whenever she went back home, she would change back into this weird person because she was being drugged. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I went on and on. Okay, we need to stop it right there. I have 15 pages to read. Okay, I want to pull cards on what we read. Okay, just an open read. And I'm pretty sure all we're going to use is either true crime or what lies beneath, and probably true crime, because what we've been reading about is nothing but a disgusting crime. Here's a crime scene. Clear, spirit. For what we just read about, should I use true crime? Yes. Now, when I did this video yesterday, my guy said he used true crime the whole time. Okay, all 3 readings were true crime because we're dealing with criminals, disgusting criminals. Okay, let me shuffle, you guys, and I'll be right back. All right, so for what we've read so far, let's do an open read, okay? Let me just make sure I've saved where I need to end it up at. Just 1 second, guys. Okay, just want to make sure that I have it saved for the next part we're going to read. Okay, I don't know what this has. Social media. Is this Muskrat? You know how he got this whole ball running again. We'll keep going. Boat. I get this all the time with the Orange Menace. I think he's going to want to escape or try to escape. Once it's all coming out, okay? He does not want this to be known, okay? His presidency, his suits, his riches, that's a mask, okay? It's a mask for him being a pedophile, allegedly. We can say he's a sexual assaulter because that's what he was convicted of. That's what he was convicted of. Okay. Legal proceedings are coming after the Orange Menace and all those men who have done all these horrible things to children. Not that it was an accident. This is a car crash. This whole thing that we're experiencing right now is a damn car crash, okay? It's all coming out, and it's a car crash. Of course, there's more hidden things that we're going to learn about. Great. You guys, remember 3 or 4 or 5 months ago, all the readers were saying, and psychics and readers were all saying that when this comes, it's going to come quick. Is it coming quick? It's quick. It's going to be a shocker. It's going to remove the Orange Menace from office. It's a shocker. And the one thing we're waiting for now is him to be removed. Because, okay, this is about male energy. Disgusting male energy. Okay? That believes in raping children. I'm not talking about all men. I'm talking about these men who do these type of things. Let's get that straight. They think they're doing this. There is surveillance going on. There's been investigations. I believe there's still investigations underground right now. And there's been investigations about this. We're going to find out about a bunch more lies, I'm sure. There is so much healing that needs to happen. Healing for the victims, these poor victims. There needs to be so much healing for the poor victims. There needs to be healing for us who have to listen to all of this. The Orange Menace and all of his people are nothing but abusers, okay? They abuse people in every way, sexually, physically, mentally. And MAGA, they need to heal too. Everyone involved in this is going to end up in prison. We've got prison and we've got legal matters. And this cult of the Baal, what do you call it? Cult of Baal. I think it's going to be dismembered. Hopefully this isn't real people being dismembered. Let's just ask a few questions. Clear, spirit. Everyone that was involved in sex trafficking children, is legal proceedings and prison coming for them? Yes. Clear. Including the Orange Menace. Is there prison coming for him? Yes. Clear. Spirit. Dismemberment. Is this actual dismemberment? No. Clear. Spirit. Is this the dismemberment of the cult of Baal? Is that what this is? Thank God. Okay, you guys, that is it for this one. I went a little longer than I thought I was going to go. That's it for this one. I have 2 more parts. So it'll be part 1, part 2, and part 3. Okay? All right, that is it for this one. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd love for you to do so. If you can give this video a thumbs up. Any comments or questions, anything that you want me to ask about, leave it below. You guys, take care of yourselves. Please do something to make yourself happy because we're learning about some real disgusting, horrible stuff. And it's coming at us fast and furious. Love, peace, and happiness, you guys. And I will see you guys in just a little bit. All right. Bye, guys.